everybody. Welcome back to another Dice Tower review. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Mike Delisio.
Today we're taking a look at a game from Reiner Knizia called Pumafiosi. Pumas, Mafiosi. In this one, you are going to be playing tricks. You're going to be playing cards, trying to be the one that comes in second each round. You don't want to be the first one. You don't want to be sticking your head out.
First or worst.
Getting it shut off
Right.
by the mob bosses around you. No, you want to come in just under that person and then put out a card so you can score some points. It's all about managing that hand of cards, managing where you come in. Now, Knizia's done a whole lot of games.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of small games like this one, and this is a reprint of a game with a couple of tweaks from quite a long time ago called Rooster Booster, if you can believe it.
Rooster Booster.
So this is a reworking of that from the 90s, I think. It is very old.
Yeah.
So does this game feel old? Is it interesting? Is it well done? Well, let me show you how it works first. We'll come on back. We'll give you some thoughts on this. The game's going to be played over 3 rounds, or 3 full games, and at the end of those 3, whoever has the most points is the winner. Each of those games goes like this. We are going to shuffle up the deck of cards. Everybody gets 10, and we are going to be drawing a hand of 3 from that. The other 7 are on the table, and every time you play a card, you will draw a card from your own deck until we've played all 10 of these cards. So that is your starting deck for the round. We have over here in front of each player 2 cards, one for positive points, one for negative points, and you'll be using these to mark those things. You'll be throwing them on there, and you can, of course, if I have, say, 2 positive and 2 negative points, I can zero that out if I want to, and clear this up so that this score makes sense. Then over here we've got this ranking of the characters, and so in this game we are going to be playing tricks, trying to be the winner, and the winner is the second highest card played, by the way. You don't want to stick your head out too far because the mobsters will come after you. You want to be just below that, right? You want to be second. And then you can take a position here. Let's take a look at how that works. We're going to have this player be the start player. They're going to take a look at their hand of cards. This deck of cards has cards numbered 1 through 55, and I am going to play one of these to the game, and then I'll immediately draw a replacement. We'll go around. The next player then will play a card. And they might play, say, this one here. Then the next player will go from their hand of 3. They'll play a card. And they might play, say, this one. They'll play that card there. And then draw a replacement. And then this player, being the last one, will play a card. Again, the winner is whoever plays the second highest card. So this player here is going to jump in there with that 41, okay, and then draw a replacement. The 41 is the second highest card. The 43 being the highest, then the 41. So this player, the green player, is going to win. They're going to take this card. The other 3 can be discarded now. They're going to take this card, and they're going to assign it to one of these positions here with a token of their color on top of it so that they remember it's theirs. So let's say I put this on that 7 there. That's where it goes. And then we're leading a new card out. So I'll show you another trick on how that works. So I'm going to play this 12 here. I'm not going to bother with the drawing right now. They play a 12, 24 over here. This person here is going to play this 25. And this person over here is going to play, unfortunately, I'll do that one, the 4. So it'll be the 24 that wins it. This player will take this and play it somewhere. And you could do something like, you put this anywhere you want to. Yeah, I could do something like that. Put it there, all right? However, if anytime someone wins, let's say that happened first, that red win happened first, and then the green player won with this card, if a card is ever assigned to a location where there is a card already, and you're allowed to do that as long as yours is stronger numerically, then these 2 will contend, and the lower number will drop down 1. And in fact, if there was already a card in there, then again, the lower one drops 1. So if 12 was already there, and then the 24 shifts from here to here, and now there's a 12 there, these 2 fight, and now it's the 12 that drops. Well, every time your card drops down a spot, you're going to take 1 penalty point and put it on there. And in fact, it's possible for them to drop all the way down to this spot here, this -3. These can never have more than one card. You cannot share spaces. This last spot over here, though, there can be as many here as you want. If they keep dropping all the way down to this spot, that's fine. You're going to be losing some points down there, though. And once we've played all 10 cards from our hands, then the players are going to figure out what score they've got. You are going to get the number of victory points equal to where your cards are remaining, and you'll be subtracting, of course, any that you took as penalty points throughout the game for having your cards drop down. For being a little too greedy by putting a 12 all the way up here, knowing that there are many, many cards higher than that. You're also going to take a 10-point penalty if none of your cards are here. So you need to win at least one trick during these 10 tricks. Once that's done, we shuffle up the deck of cards. We'll take all these back. We are going to prepare another hand and start with the player who is the wealthiest at that point, whoever has the most points. They're going to begin the next hand, the next round, next game, and then a third game after that. Once we've played all of those, then whoever has the most points is going to be the winner of the entire thing. That's the basic rules. There are also some extra tokens here that you can choose to use, and these are optional extra rules, but I'm not going to show you all of that. Just be aware there's a little more content you can choose to include in the game to spice it up a little bit. All right, let's go back up top. All right, there we go. So, Pumafiosi, guys. We saw this on Kickstarter a long time ago.
Yes.
We were intrigued. All of us were kind of intrigued to the point where we thought to ourselves, it's just a deck of cards.
Right, 1 to 55.
1 through 55. Can we mock it up and try it out? You know, let's just, we're all curious. So we did that.
Yes.
And there was something there. To the point that I backed it, you backed it.
Yep.
Chris is a punk. He didn't back it.
I don't really back games. Well, you seldom do, actually.
I do actually very infrequently back things, and I did back this one. Because it's interesting. Again, there was something there that slowly revealed itself, I would say. It's kind of a subtle game, right?
It is, like I think many of Knizia's games, especially his card games, there's definitely some subtlety to it. You get the rules, you know, and like, again, most of his games, you can explain the rules in moments.
It's very quick, yeah.
And you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. And then as you play it, you start to think, oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, well, that's a nice little thing. Oh, okay. So the rules are all very straightforward, but there is some little subtle strategies and things along those lines.
Yeah, what you play, when you play it.
Right.
What you lead when you're starting out a new round. There's no suits or anything in this game. It's literally cards 1 through 55.
Right.
They're not all in the game, which I also like. I don't like perfect information, trick-taking games. And if you do, then be aware of that. You're not going to have all 55 at the table.
No.
But there is, so you can play any card. You want to be second. Usually you want to be second. Sometimes you don't want to win, because you don't want to win with a particularly low card, which will penalize you more than help you.
As you move down that hierarchy.
Right. You don't really want to win with a 3. You know, you don't. You'd rather not win at all, because you're just going to lose points from that. That hierarchy, this idea of bumping each other down, losing points for that, clean, very simple, but interesting. And I think the interest does ramp up as the end of the whole round comes into view.
Yeah.
What's nice about it, the way that there's that ladder, that hierarchy of the things, is that in a round, typically there's going to be one card kind of in every spot. But if you're playing a particularly aggressive round where you keep bumping into the same spot as someone lower in the ladder, just so you can keep sending people to that negative 3-point spot, the inverse of that is you're leaving a lot of spots open.
Right.
So you could actually win a trick late in the game, late in each round, with a lower card and go higher than you normally would.
Right, you can risk it, right?
There's a lot there.
2 cards from the end of the round.
Right. If you win with a 14.
If you win with a 28, you might take a top spot, the 10 or the 8, and well, I can maybe get away with that, right?
Right.
28, you're not feeling confident about the 28. What about a 35? Would you do it with a 35? How about a 40? I love that. Because it's just hedging your bets. There's this idea of how high can you go with this win and lock that in.
Right.
You know, that's the idea of, and then the losing points for slipping is such a clean, interesting concept.
Right.
I really like that. And so the whole thing just kind of feels like this strange mix between trick taking and push your luck. We were talking a bit about how it's there's this Knizia game called Escape, or the newest printing is called Rapido, which is a dice-driven version of this kind of.
Yeah.
Not really, but it has that idea of how strong is your die roll. Where do you think it'll remain?
Right.
Where can you leave it and it'll actually hold its position? And I find that just engaging.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's also interesting sometimes if you're the first one to win, a trick, as we're calling it. It's not really, it kind of is a trick-taking game, but not exactly.
Yeah. I would call it a trick-taking game.
If you're the first one to win a trick, where you place it on that hierarchy. You know what I mean? You're kind of setting up the round a little bit.
Yes.
And I think that's a kind of a fun thing. And so those are some of the subtleties. The other thing I did want to point out is that we've played both the kind of standard game, as we've mentioned it, where you're just playing 1 to 55. Where do you end up on that hierarchy getting the points? There's also a variant, I think they call it. My opinion, put it in from the first game, play with them all the time. They're these little one-time use tokens.
Right.
4 one-time use special ability tokens. And I think those are great. I don't know if those were in Rooster Booster. I never played it. Part of me doubts that that's I'm assuming that's something that's new to this printing. And it's fantastic. I think those are great. They don't add a lot rules-wise, but they are very situationally. They can make you feel really, really smart if you play it at the right time. Because there's a lot of luck in the game.
Right.
But when you play those, that really can make a huge difference, and that is usually going to be a solid strategic choice you're making.
Right.
When to play that engagement ring, when to play the.
I like that they all feel like double-edged swords.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right? Because,
Because the times 2
we've
can hit
seen
you
them,
negative, too.
I think we've seen them all backfire at this point. Like you used, in the last game we played, your 10.5 plus 10.5 is what the token is.
Right.
I play at 14. With this token, if I want to, 24.5.
Right.
And you won! Then the token goes away, and now it's just a 14, and you still have to put it in the lineup.
Yeah, and it went
was
right to the
very late.
-3.
It was very late in the round. It did not work out.
No, it did not work.
The engagement ring.
Same thing.
Else.
Yeah.
That card you tie with starts getting bumped down, and you're ow, I'm taking these negative points. Ow, stop it.
Yeah, the times 2, same deal. If you drop, it's now 2 points you take. But then you multiply it wherever you ended up times 2. If you drop all the way down, that'd be really dumb. But it could be -6. I really like that. Yeah.
What I foresee doing with this, if I'm teaching people, is I'm probably going to play, because it's a 3-round game, probably play the first round just the cards.
Yeah, I see that.
And then the second and third round say, hey, by the way, you got some tokens. I do that with, for example, like Las Vegas, the dice game. I teach the extra little things, the extra modules starting at the second round on. I could see that working really well, actually, because the core idea of what you're doing in this game is very fun.
Right.
A point you mentioned is very lucky.
It is very lucky, yes. And we need to talk about the luck in the game for sure.
I think that what I appreciate about it, though, is even though there's luck, you have 3 cards at a time.
Right.
And then you're drawing a new card after you play one, right? Very lucky. But you always have meaningful decisions. Which cards am I know I'm not going to win this trick. I just need to get rid of one.
Which one do I want to shed? It matters.
It matters a lot.
Yeah.
When you win, where do you put it out in that ladder of things? When you throw in the tokens, I feel like it adds another meaningful strategic decision in the middle of a very lucky card game.
Right.
But I think that's why I like it.
All right. Well, let's get some final scores here. What do you got, Mike?
Well, one thing we didn't mention that I'm going to mention now, since I'm giving final thoughts, is that in addition to the gameplay, it's a very nice production.
It is.
The card quality is good. The token quality is good. They were pre-punched. That may not matter to some people. I love that. I love, hey, it's ready to go. Let's play right now. So, so that certainly helped. The theme, it's numbers on cards, but it's a cute theme. I like the art. It may not be for everybody, but I like the art quite a bit.
I think the theme here helps the game too, actually.
Does, yeah.
This idea of, you don't want to be the leader because the leader gets the attention.
Yep.
Being bumped down means, again, bumping down the familia here.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of works.
Yeah, it does. So The production is on point. The gameplay is solid as you might expect from somebody that's been designing these types of games for decades upon decades, and it's an iteration on an older design. I'm coming in at a 7.5. Easy recommend. Be aware going in, there's a fair amount of luck, but there are also meaningful decisions throughout.
That's interesting. I didn't expect to come in higher than you. I'm coming in at an 8.
Okay.
I really like it. It's you made that comparison to Escape or Rapido, which is one of my favorite games. It was literally in my top 100.
Yeah.
I think that this is a little bit. There's a little bit more going on with it. That Escape, you just roll dice.
Sure.
And you put it on this ladder. I like that this almost feels like that kind of ladder mechanism in a slightly more significant of a game. I don't know where I sit with the two of them. No one's asking me to compare them anyway.
Right. It doesn't matter, yeah.
But yeah, just kind of where I'm coming from. I like this a lot because I like trick taking. I like push your luck. This is kind of a sweet little combination of those two in a way that I wasn't really expecting. And yeah, there's just a lot of risk. When I put out a number into a spot, am I just going to get hammered all the way down?
Right.
You know, am I going to end up in that -3 spot?
Right.
And even if I've ended a round with 2 of multiple cards in that -3 spot, but still end up having a really good round,
Right.
I'm still in the game. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel so devastating, but it feels meaningful. And I really like this one.
I like it too. I'm coming in actually just slightly below both of you at a 7. It's a nice, comfortable 7 for me.
Yeah.
It's a game I am happy to own. I think it's fun. It's a slight game.
Yes.
It's a small thing, but lovingly produced, engaging, interesting the whole time, and lucky, yes, and old-ish. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of tell this is
Yeah.
not breaking any boundaries. This is not setting the world on fire by any means. But it's fun, and it's well done, and I'll be happy to have this forever, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that kind of game. If I want to play a trick-taking game with some push your luck on top of that, with some weird illustrations of mafioso animals, and with a nice little variant that I might want to throw in for some spice and pizzazz, then this is a good one. It manages to do that. It doesn't try to rewrite the rule book on gaming, but it doesn't make any wrong steps either.
No, not
It's
at all.
also unlike any other trick-taking game I've played.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it earns a lot of points in my respect for being very unique in that regard.
Right. Yeah, it does it well. So there you go. 7, 7.5, 8. That is a seal of approval, ladies and gentlemen, for Pumafiosi. Thanks very much for checking this one out with us. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Mike Delisio.
And we will catch you at the family dinner.
Watch out.